Well, hello there, and welcome to another tutorial video from Adriel Partners, helping you stand out and succeed so you can do work that makes a difference. Today we're going to look at adding a variable product to WooCommerce. And specifically, this is for an online ordering system, but you can use it for whatever project you need. So to start with, we are logged in to the back end of WordPress. This is your standard screen. It'll look different on yours depending on what plugins you have installed, but here's the basic idea. On the left, you have your navigation bar. And so we're going to go over to the WooCommerce area, but specifically, we're going to go to products. And once you put your mouse on top of the products menu item, you'll see there's a sub menu that pops out, and you can select Add New. Now for this exercise, I actually have a spreadsheet elsewhere on my computer that has the information that I need, so I can type it in pretty quickly. The point when you're putting in products is make sure you're consistent so that your store or your ordering system or quote system or whatever you're using WooCommerce for, you want it to be consistent. So in this case, I'm consistent by capitalizing my product name. So I'm going to type this PVC pipe, and this is schedule 40. And so I'm just copying the text that's on the spreadsheet I was given. Now for this application, we don't have a lot of product detail. It's not needed. This is for field reps to enter information, and they already know it. But typically, if you were doing a customer-facing store, then you would put your description here. So this is a length of PVC pipe. I'm actually going to delete that because we don't need it for this application. But you can put all sorts of different info here, and it will face the customer. The next thing I'm going to do is choose what type of product. Here's a t-shirt, and that's it. Or here is a water bottle. But a lot of things have options. So for a t-shirt, it might have different colors or different sizes. Water bottles might have also different colors or different spouts. In this case, we're going to select this drop down, and we're going to choose variable product. Clicking variable product changes a couple of things. It's going to want to skew just a typical item lookup tag. And so again, for this application, I'm going to keep consistency. So I'm going to call it PVC, and I'm going to call it pipe schedule 40. You can put whatever you want in here. It's just about your ability to organize your stuff. So there's no right or wrong stuff here. Just make sure you're consistent. The next thing I'm going to do is go over on this left area to the attributes menu item. And I'm going to click attributes, and I'm going to add a custom product attribute. You have to do this first because you can't make variations on a product until you have some sort of attribute that you're going to vary. So in this case, my attribute is size. So you can have different size pipe. And so I've already done the hard work of typing, and then I copied the whole list. Now I'm just going to paste it because that's a lot of little detail. Now I'm going to double check it because I want to make sure I have the right information here. But you'll notice that you have the variation, and then you have a pipe to separate it. So for instance, if I was just typing this out, I'd say, okay, I could have 1/2 inch pipe. Then I put a little pipe character. Don't get confused between the use of the word pipe there. The product is a pipe, but we're also using the pipe character to separate our values for this particular attribute. I also have 3/4 inch pipe. Now I separate this with a pipe character. I have 1 inch, so I could just keep doing that. If this were a shirt with colors, you could say I have a red shirt, and then I have a blue shirt, or heck, you could have different color pipe. But the principle is the name of your variation, what you're actually varying, what you're changing, and then the values you have to choose from, separated by this little pipe character. Now the last thing you need to do when you're adding your attribute, and we're going to add another product that has more than one attribute in just a moment, but you may have to check used for variations. Otherwise it won't show up in your variation area. Click Save. You'll see the little WooCommerce round swirly thing there that lets you know something's happening. Then we're going to go again to the left area of this WooCommerce product data box, and we're going to click on variations. And this is the easy part. Once you've put in your attributes, you go here to this drop-down menu, and you select Create Variations from All Attributes. Then you click on the Go button. It'll warn you. It'll say, are you sure? Because if you have a lot of variations, this could take a while. In this case, we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to click OK. Then it does its little thinking, and it tells you 10 variations added. Now, if you don't want this page to keep popping up stuff, you could click that. I don't recommend that. I think that you need to let the page talk to you, or else you don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to click OK. And you'll notice here that here are all the different variations. And this is what the customer, or in this particular case, the field installer, they can select different options. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. But the next thing we have to do is pay attention to this little dialog box, this little warning that appeared. It said, these don't have prices. These variations and attributes that don't have prices won't be shown in your store. Now for this case, we're not actually showing prices on the front end because the installers don't need that. Certainly a front-facing customer store needs prices. But regardless, the system has to have a price if this particular product will be featured in the system at all. But the good news is there's a quick way to do this. So we're going to go back up here to this little drop-down box. We're going to click it, and now we have a lot more options than we did before. And I'm going to go down to the pricing section and click on Set Regular Prices. Then I'm going to click Go. And once again, we have a box that opens up. This is why you don't want to prevent the page from making additional dialog boxes, by the way. And in this case, I'm just going to click 0 because we don't need a price. You might have variations of something that are all the same, and you could put in, $9.95, whatever you want. You don't need to put the $sign there, I don't think. But in this case, we're going to do 0. We're going to click OK. Now we're almost done for this particular application. Now it's gone through, the dialog box goes away. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this product in its appropriate category. And you could do this first if you wanted, it's up to you. But I'm going to click PVC pipe and fittings because that's the category of product that I already determined we'd put this in. Now, you can also add tags if you want to add more information that people could search for. So you could type in pipe, you could type in, I don't know, PVC. Now that might, those two in particular might be a little bit redundant because it already has PVC pipe in the title. But the purpose of product tags is to give you an easier time searching for things within your product catalog and to give the customer or the end user an easier time. So that's why I'm not putting product tags because, again, this is for a very specific, well-informed audience that know what they're looking for. Same thing, product image. You can add an image of the product. We may add those later for these products, but for now we're not bothering with that. And you can add multiple images with the gallery. Those are just different options you have available. But the bottom line is once you've put in the content you want, you click the Publish button. You could also click Save Draft if you wanted to save it for later and have somebody else review your work. But once you click the Publish button, it will be featured in your online store. So I'm going to do a second product now. Sometimes it's helpful to see things done more than once. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull in, here's my little, here's the front end that we use. So I'm going to hit refresh. You'll notice I've sized it smaller because the primary application of this thing is going to be for phones. Make it a little bigger, I think. So if I click PVC pipe, I might have to log out and log back in again. We'll see on that, but just give me just a moment. Unless, of course, I didn't actually... Oh, you know what? I didn't add the product table. Ha! Silly me. Well, we're using a product table to display information. This is a previous category that I set up. And you can see products here. Let me show you what it looks like. When you click Add, it gives you an option then. Here's my variation. This is for a different product, but the principle is the same. Pick your variation, click Add to Cart, and that's how you do it. Some things have multiple variations, and so we can see, gosh, I don't even know which one. Let me take a look here, just my other spreadsheet. I have 3 monitors here I'm looking at. Stand by. There we go. Look at the screw set fittings here. You can just see what it looks like when you have more than one variation. For this one, we have a size. We'll say, once again, 3/4 inch. And you have a part type. It's a coupling or it's a connector. You choose that, add to cart. All right, so this was from the EMT section. We already made those. I forgot that I still have to put in some code to make the product show up in this other display box. That's for a different video, for a different day, perhaps. But now I just want to show you one more product just for repetition to help you get more comfortable with adding it. So once again, we're going to click Add New. And we're going to go and type in the name of the product. We're continuing in the same category. This is PVC PVC, and then this is going to be 45/90s. And that's the name of the product as it was given to me in the spreadsheet. Again, I don't need to put in any description for this application, but if you were doing an online store, you probably would. And we're going to select simple product here, and we're going to change that. Click and hold and drag down to variable product. I'm going to put in a SKU, so I'm going to type in PVC 45/90. Again, this, you don't need to worry too much about that as long as you're consistent and everybody on your team knows what these SKUs mean. Next, I'm going to go to attributes here on the left section of the WooCommerce product data box. Click on attributes, and I'm going to add one. Just like before, I'm going to add the size attribute. And in this particular case, I'm going to just use my cut and paste because I don't want to type all that stuff. Here's my 1/2 inch, my 3/4 inch. I'm also looking at my spreadsheet on my other monitor to confirm that these are correct. 1 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/2 inch, here's 2 inch, here's 2 1/4 inch, here's 3 inch, here's 3 1/2 inch, here's 4. Okay, so my for variations, and I'm going to click Save Attributes. Now, I've added the size attribute, but now I'm going to add another one because this particular product has another attribute. So I'm going to click the Add button, and I'm going to call this, like we saw in the other example, part type. And the part type here only has 2 values. It's going to be PVC 45. Then I'm going to separate this with a pipe character. And the other option is PVC 90. So these are 45 degree or 90 degree angle connectors here. Once again, click Used for Variations. That has to be checked. And click Save Attributes. WooCommerce tells me it's thinking, and now it's done. I've got 2 different attributes that I've created. Now I'm going to go to Variations on the left-hand side of the WooCommerce product data box. Clicking on Variations gives me a little drop-down. I'm going to select Create Variations from All Attributes and click Go. It'll warn me, this could take a bit. Now what it's going to do is it's going to make a variation using those 2 different attributes, and it'll fill in on the gaps to create options for every combination possible. Obviously, the more attributes you add, the more differences, different types of attributes, the longer it takes. So in this case, here you go, 20 variations added. And you can see them listed down here. They'll show up here in just a moment. Here's a 1/2 inch PVC 45. Here's a 1/2 inch PVC 90. Here's a 3/4 inch PVC 45, a 3/4 inch PVC 90. It's really handy that it created it all automatically. It's also handy that now, when it warns me that these things don't have prices, I can do it all at once. Go back to this drop-down box, which now has more options. Go to Prices and click Set Regular Prices. Notice you have a lot of other options here if you needed them, but for our case we don't. We just need to set our regular prices and click Go. Enter a value, in this case it's 0. You would set whatever price you want. And then it goes through. Now, in a context where you did have different prices for different variations, maybe you have a musical album and one format is a CD, one format is a download, you could still click this down arrow. You can add individual SKUs for individual variations. You can choose things, here's the regular price, here's the sale price, and you can do that for each product individually if you want. Then move your mouse and put it on the up arrow, click that to close that box. Those are lots of options you have available, but we don't need them for our context here. The last thing I'm going to do, because remember I don't need product tags or product images for what I'm doing, you might, but I don't need that. The last thing I'm going to do is click on PVC pipe and fittings to put it in the right category. And then I have to go and do some code to make that show up in that other section for my application, but that's how you add it to a category. Finally, I click Publish, and now my product is published. So, hope that's helpful for you. This is how you add variable products to WooCommerce. I'm Philip with Adriel Partners. Hope that's helpful to you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.